Hi, I'm Vrax, and I'm a Minecraft content creator for XSET, and this is Nerf or Buff. If you're new to Nerf or Buff, this is how it works. If I buff something, it's good, but if I nerf something, it's bad. Let's get right into it. TikTok. Now, I think it would be pretty bad if I didn't give this one a buff. My main platform is actually TikTok. That's where most of my content is from and where most of my following is at. And, you know, I genuinely do really enjoy the platform, but if I gave it a nerf, I'd be kind of concerned for myself because, you know, that's where most of my content's spent at anyway. So I'm gonna have to give this one a buff. Minecraft Bed Wars. So you see, I have my days where I want to say that this one's a nerf because some days Bed Wars just isn't what I hope it would be. But you know, overall, I do love the game as a whole, and you know, I'm gonna have to say buff for this one as well. Pokemon cards. Well, you see, I've done my fair share of buying Pokemon cards in the last week. I may have bought a pack of about 50 of them. So I had 50 packs of Pokemon cards that I opened up on my stream the other day, and now I placed an order this morning for another 20. So I have to give this one a buff, even though my wallet would say this is a nerf. I really enjoy Pokemon cards, so I'm giving it a buff. Lil Nas X. Now, this one, I have to automatically give a buff. There's no comment about it. Lil Nas X has just been dropping amazing music recently, especially that new music video. That new music video was a roller coaster of emotions for a lot of us. But overall, I really do enjoy his music, and definitely I think he deserves a buff. KitKATS. KitKATS are definitely one of my favorite candies. You know, it would be kind of weird if I gave this one a nerf. I have a lot of buffs here, but you know, it's all good things right now. So, you know, KitKATS, I have to give it a buff. Unverified people on Twitter, just like myself, I have to give them a nerf. Hopefully, this is me telling Twitter directly to please verify my Twitter. It will look good next to my name. It is a nerf, but if you were to give it to me, then it's automatically a buff because then I have a check mark. I'm not unverified. So until I'm verified, I'm gonna have to give it a nerf. High school. So I'm going into my senior year of high school this year, which I'm kind of looking forward to, but also at the same time not, because, you know, there's a lot that goes on in your senior year of high school. But overall, I still have to give it a buff because, you know, without school and stuff, I wouldn't know anything. And I already can be a little not so smart with something, especially when it comes to some Bed Wars. School gives me the basic knowledge that I need to do just basic everyday activities. So I'm gonna give it a buff as much as I don't like the work, but, you know, I learned some stuff. So it's a buff in my book. Ratioing people on Twitter. I immediately have to give this one a buff because I tend to do it way too often. If you have not ratioed somebody on Twitter, please do it and see what type of adrenaline rush you get because it is great. I'm giving this one a buff. If you don't know what a ratio on Twitter is, it's basically when you reply to somebody with just stupid reply, and somewhere in that tweet, it usually says ratio. And your reply gets more likes than the original poster. And, you know, if you've ever done that, you just know how great of a feeling it is to officially ratio someone. Creepers in Minecraft. This one is definitely getting a nerf. I hate creepers. Now, you see, Minecraft is supposed to be a kid's game, not a horror game. When I see creepers, I genuinely get scared. And for that reason, I have to give them a nerf. TWITLONGERS. So I have to give them a buff here for the most part if they're used properly. If you can fit something into 160 characters on Twitter, then please just make a tweet, because if not, then I have to give it a nerf because I do not like opening up a TWITLONGER to just see something that could have fit in a regular tweet. Like, what's the point? But besides that, if you write a meaningful TWITLONGER and actually has a purpose and not going to waste my time reading it, then I can give it a buff. Mental health. So mental health, I definitely have to give a buff because, you know, just in general, everyone should be making sure that they're maintaining, you know, a good mental health and a good mental state because, you know, not every day is going to be the best day that you have, but it's always good to make sure that you're keeping yourself in a good mentality all the time because even through those hard moments, you want to make sure that you're positive throughout the most of it, even when it seems like stuff is rough. So, you know, even when you have bad times, just make sure you're keeping your head up. And, you know, for mental health, I want to give it a buff. Oh, this is a great one. FLUCTRA. I genuinely hate FLUCTRA. Not seriously though. But for the sense of this, I'm gonna give FLUCTRA a nerf because she's terrible at Bed Wars. Bed Wars are her only personality trait. She tweets a lot on Twitter. I just don't like her. But in all seriousness, FLUCTRA is a great content creator and I would definitely give her a buff. But for the sake of joking around with FLUCTRA, it's a nerf. The pickaxe in Minecraft. I mean, honestly, why not just use your fist? You know, it's honestly like, who needs a tool for stuff when you could just use your fist? It gives it to you, so you might as well use it. In all seriousness, the pickaxe is a great tool and you wouldn't be able to do a lot of things in Minecraft without it. So for that case, I have to give it a buff. TikTok comments. This one is getting a hard nerf. TikTok comments can be a little brutal sometimes. And You know, sometimes people are trying to make a joke, but other times people are being very direct and straight up towards you, and sometimes it's not what you want to hear. And TikTok comments can just get a little toxic sometimes. If you ever been on TikTok, you've probably seen it and you know what I mean. So for this one, I have to give it a nerf. McDonald's. So I'm not really a big fast food person, so for that reason, I have to give it a nerf. But if we're talking about if I would eat McDonald's, if I was choosing fast food, then I give it a buff. But like I said, I'm just not a big fast food person, so in my case, this one's gonna be a nerf. If I had to choose a fast food place, though, to eat from, it would definitely be Chick-fil-A. I cannot name a time that I go over to my friend's house and do not order myself some Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A would definitely be a buff in my book, if I had to choose from fast food restaurants. I'm Vrax, and if you enjoyed this episode of Nerf or Buff as much as I did, be sure to follow, because we post a new episode of Nerf or Buff every single week. But before you go, be sure to check me out on Twitch and Twitter. Most importantly, Twitter, because maybe it'll verify me if you guys check me out. So head on over to my Twitch and my Twitter and drop a follow. My Twitch is just Vrax, and my Twitter is Vraxo with 3 O's. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys for the next Nerf or Buff.